Our third day in São Miguel immerses us in the heart of Ponta Delgada, the capital of the Azores. This former fishing village experienced rapid growth following the earthquake of 1522, which destroyed the former capital, Villafranca do Campo. It officially became the capital of the island in 1546 under the reign of Don Juan III, and developed quickly with the construction of fortifications still visible today and the appearance of palaces and churches in the following centuries. From its lush gardens to its historical monuments, we will discover the soul of the city that became the capital despite itself. Our journey will take us from the magnificent Garden António Borges to the emblematic Portas da Cidade, passing by impressive sites such as the Santuário do Senhor Santo Cristo dos Milagres. We will also explore the military heritage with the Forte de São Brás and stroll along the docks. In the afternoon, we will escape the city center to visit the famous pineapple plantations before embarking on one of the few hikes we have planned, the Rocha da Relva Trail. We will finally return to the capital to witness a magical evening with the festivities of the feast of Senhor Santo Cristo dos Milagres, which will offer us a remarkable display of lights and traditions. Come on, let's go! While the most important park on the island is Terra Nostra, Ponta Delgada has some very nice gardens, like the Jardim António Borges. It's a botanical garden located just a few minutes from the city center. Access to this green lung is free, and we are even greeted by ducks. We take a path lined with palm trees that leads us to a gigantic tree, Ficus macrophylla, also known as the banyan fig tree. It's native to Australia and often cultivated in subtropical and tropical regions. Its aerial roots create an impressive effect. The Australian banyan tree seems straight out of a fairy tale. After being greeted by ducks, we encounter baby ducks. So cute. There are winding paths, bamboo plants, caves, tunnels constructed from red lava stone, and ponds. It's certainly the most pleasant green space in Ponta Delgada. It's designed with little spaces and airy lawns, some exotic species, a water feature, and a small cafe. By the way, right next to cafe, there is an intriguing tree covered with what looks like Spanish moss, a plant that often grows on large trees in tropical and subtropical climates. It's known as grandfather's beard in French Polynesia. After this visit to the garden, we walk down to the city center, where we discover cobblestone streets, decorated with typical Portuguese symbols. We arrive at the square Campo de São Francisco. It's the largest square in the city, and one of the largest in the Azores. A remarkable religious, military, and domestic architectural heritage has been built here. Its name comes from its location opposite to the Church of São José, the former convent of São Francisco. And on the square, amusingly, we discover another tree, covered with grandfather's beard. For over 300 years, Campo has hosted the festivities in honor of Senhor Santo Cristo dos Milagres, gathering thousands of faithful. And we are lucky, because today, preparations for this festival are underway, and we will be able to enjoy it. Workers are busy, covering the buildings with lights. One of the highlights of the festival is a grand procession on Sunday, where the statue of Senhor Santo Cristo dos Milagres is carried through the streets of Ponta Delgada, which are decorated with flower carpets and lights. Due to time constraints, we won't be able to see this, as we have other places to explore. But we look forward to returning this evening to witness this spectacle. The square is bordered by this church and the former hospital of São José to the west, by the church and convent of Nossa Senhora de Esperança to the north, and by the fort of São Brás and the sea to the south. Erected in the 16th century, it dominates the coastal landscape of Ponta Delgada. This imposing military structure, considered the most powerful in the Azores, testifies to the defensive ingenuity of its time. Originally, its mission was crucial: to protect the island against repeated assaults by pirates who roamed the Atlantic Ocean, attracted by the riches of merchant ships stopping in the region. Over the centuries, the fort has adapted to geopolitical changes. In 1940, it took on a new strategic dimension by becoming the headquarters of the military command of the Azores, a function it still holds today. Simultaneously, part of its walls now house a military museum. The historical and architectural importance of Fort São Brás was officially recognized in April 1953, when it was classified as a property of public interest. Leaving the protective shadow of the fortress, our itinerary leads us to the heart of Ponta Delgada. After a few minutes of walking through the streets of the city, we emerge onto the City Hall Square, the nerve center of local life. It's a living tableau of Azorean charm. A long rectangular basin stretches towards the main building. Flower beds punctuate the space, bringing a touch of cheerfulness to the urban decor. The ornate lampposts lining the square add a note of historical elegance to the ensemble. At the center of this carefully arranged composition stands the statue of Saint Michael the Archangel. His presence is significant in this region, deeply rooted in Catholic tradition. For the inhabitants of the Azores, known for their strong religiosity, this celestial figure embodies divine protection and justice, fundamental values at the heart of community life. Eager to embrace a broader perspective of the city, we decide to climb the steps of the belfry adjacent to the City Hall. Once at the top, a panorama of the city unfolds before our eyes. In the distance, the Atlantic Ocean draws an infinite horizon, reminding us of the insularity of this Portuguese territory. Our walk now leads us to one of the most recognizable landmarks of Ponta Delgada, the city gates. These imposing architectural structures, erected in the 18th century, were initially built at the edge of the Old Quay, marking the main entrance to the city for visitors arriving by sea. The architectural ensemble consists of 3 majestic arches adorned with coats of arms on the central part. On one side are the royal arms of Portugal, and on the other, the coat of arms of Ponta Delgada. These gates are not just a simple vestige of the past. They have become a true postcard of the city, an essential landmark for visitors. At any time of the day, groups of tourists can be seen stopping to admire and photograph this monument, seeking to capture a moment of their visit to the capital. Our journey now takes us to the Matriz de Sao Sebastiao Church, erected between 1531 and 1547. This church occupies the site of an old chapel dedicated to Saint Sebastian. The exterior of the building immediately captivates the eye. Its portals blend manual line and Baroque styles. Inside, the church reveals its full splendor. Finely carved cedar woodwork stands alongside rare wooden works like Santo. The walls are adorned with pictorial representations from the 17th and 18th centuries. In the sacristy, 17th century jacaranda furniture attests to the refinement of local craftsmanship. A collection of 16th century liturgical ornaments embroidered with gold and tapestry completes this patrimonial treasure. Leaving the sacred atmosphere of the church, we head towards our next destination, the Arruda pineapple plantation. After a few minutes of driving, we reach the place. This site was recommended by a local islander for its quality environment, promising an authentic experience of cultivating this tropical fruit so characteristic for the Azores. Upon entering the Arruda pineapple plantation, we are immediately struck by the perfect alignment of the glass greenhouses. We discovered the unique process of cultivating Azorean pineapples. The plants are first grown in heated greenhouses for about 2 years, and then the flowering is artificially induced by exposing them to smoke or ethylene gas. After this stimulation, it takes an additional 6 months for the fruit to mature and be ready for harvest. Our curiosity piqued by the first visit, we head towards the second pineapple plantation, the Ananás dos Açores. This time, our objective is twofold: to make a quick visit to the facilities and, above all, to treat ourselves to a tasting session. We head to a dedicated area where a delicious assortment awaits us: freshly cut pineapple slices, freshly pressed pineapple juice, and to add a touch of Portuguese sweetness, pastéis de nata, pineapple flavor. This tasting promises to be a royal feast for our taste buds, allowing us to fully appreciate the unique flavors of Azorean pineapples in various forms. After this delightful tasting, we set off on a short 5.5 km hike to stretch our legs a bit and admire the landscapes. We park in a large lot, and as we follow the path, we pass by a small altar. We then begin our descent of about 600 meters down to the sea. The trail is well marked, and we walk along the rocky cliffs between land and ocean, protected from the wind by bamboo lining the cliffside. We encounter various plants such as Canna indica, native to South America, Lantana camara, also from the Americas, and even cacti clinging to the cliff. Throughout the descent, we pass several summer residences, vineyards, and fruit trees. This area is highly valued for cultivation and leisure, thanks to the microclimate that promotes the growth of vines and other horticultural products. Upon reaching the end of the trail, near the last houses, we return by the same path to the starting point, but this time going back up. We arrive in Ponta Delgada, which is already starting to buzz with activity. There are numerous street food stalls where we will sample local specialties, enjoy refreshing pina colada with fresh pineapple juice, and indulge in some ice cream. In short, it will be our little moment of happiness as we love these simple pleasures and street food. It's time to attend the nighttime parade or feast of Senhor Santo Cristo dos Milagres. This celebration is a highlight in the cultural and religious calendar of the Azores. Held annually in Ponta Delgada, it attracts thousands of faithfuls and visitors, making it the most significant religious festival in the archipelago. The scale of this event is such that it is considered the second largest religious festival in Portugal, just after the Fatima celebrations on the mainland. For several days, the city of Ponta Delgada adorns itself in its finest, with streets decorated with flowers and lights, creating an atmosphere of fervor and devotion. The climax of the festivities is a solemn procession where the statue of Christ is carried through the city streets. The procession draws not only residents of São Miguel, but also pilgrims from other Azorean islands, and even from the Azorean diaspora around the world. The festival is much more than just a religious event. It has become a symbol of Azorean cultural identity, blending ancient traditions, deep faith, and a sense of community. For visitors, it's a unique opportunity to observe and participate in an authentic expression of Azorean culture and spirituality. And so ends our third day in São Miguel. See you tomorrow for new discoveries.